One man discovered the most dangerous algorithm of all, Defiance. Part 15. Shadows within shadows. In the reckoning, the breach team held frozen in the dim red pulse of emergency strips. Weapons half-raised, every muscle coiled like bowstrings at full draw. The metallic Thames of recycled air mixed with the faint ozone bite of active electronics. Every heartbeat a drum in their ears. The cloaked figure emerged from shadow, light-catching elongated slate-gray features. Roan's recurved bows sang as it came to full draw in one fluid motion, heartwood creaking under tension, arrowhead steady on the alien's throat. The figure raised one thin hand open, unthreatening, and with the other triggered a remote. A hair-thin laser traced across the ceiling, illuminating a concealed directional charge wired into a daisy chain of others. Enough high explosive to flash vaporize the corridor and everyone in it, the chemical reek of plastique faint but unmistakable. Syndicate Deadman trap. The harmonic voice whispered directly into their skulls, cold and resonant like wind through bone chimes. I've neutralized it. Little John's quarterstaff rose like a battering ram, seasoned wood warm in his grip. Why should we believe you? The hood lowered. Younger features sharper, less austere than Vhal'tyr's. I am Veylari, not consortium. Concordance oversight. 3 cycles undercover. Evidence compiled. Illegal genocide, resource theft, sentient trafficking. Enough to shatter their charter. Will Scarlet's monoblade kissed the alien's jugular, the edge humming faintly with molecular vibration. Pretty story. Prove it. A veteran at the rear. Garrick shifted too quickly, hand diving for a concealed pistol. Roan spun, arrow loosed, mid-turn radar. The shaft hissed through air, punching through Garrick's wrist with a sharp crunch of bone. A pistol clattered on Estel. Garrick screamed once raw, an animal cut short by Little John's massive hand clamping over mouth and nose, palm reeking of pine sap and old sweat, until struggle ceased and the body went limp. They dragged the corpse into shadow, dead weight scraping softly. A hidden beacon blinked faintly on his belled Deadman signal, already dark. The Veylari agent watched impassively. Traitors are inefficient. Holomaps bloomed from the agent's wrist, guard rotations frozen by diversion. Vhal'tyr's exact location, shield modulation, cell codes. Then the Wry almost smile. Maintain my cover. Strike me unconscious. Place me beside him. Narrative. Traitor discovered me. Attacked. Humans killed us both in firefight. Roan nodded once. Little John stepped forward. Sorry about this. His fist cracked against temple with a dull, controlled thud. The agent dropped neatly beside Garrick. They flowed forward, flank left quiet until we can't be, Roan murmured. First guard pair rounded the corner, energy lances igniting with sharp snappers of superheated air. Blue-white glare searing retinas, ozone sharp in nostrils. No time for silence, take them, Roan barked. His disruptor arrow took the lead guard centimeters. The shield flared blinding white, overloaded with a crackling pop, and the man convulsed as feedback surged through armor, dropping him motionless. Lyra vaulted, her boots thudding off the wall on your right. Blade striking precise through visor and neck seals, fell in the guard in silence. Little John met the second head in mine, staff shattering lance with a splintering crack, then helmet with a hollow gong, then driving home with 3 heavy blows that echoed like gunshots. Alarms screamed, a live shrill piercing, vibrating in teeth and bone. The antechamber to the observation suite became a maelstrom for elite guards, in full-powered armor-charged servos, whining boots clanging like hammer blows, lances spitting plasma that flash-boiled air into thunderclaps and slagstone into glowing orange rivers, heat washing over skin like open furnace doors. The corridor turned into hell. Spread use the pillars, Roan shouted. Little John roared for the greenwood, taking a lance thrust meant for tuck. The beam seared from shoulder to ribs in a white-hot line, flesh blistering instantly. The sharp stench of burned cloth and skin filling the air as he staggered but did not fall. Pain fueled him. Not today. Staff whipped around in a blur, caving the elite's chest plate inward with a deafening metallic screech, lifting the body off its feet and slamming it into the wall hard enough to dent door steel. Will danced to death between 2 left one's mine, blades finding knee joints with grating shrieks of metal on metal. Then elbows servos that sparked and died, then throat seals guards collapsing as armor integrity failed. Lyra flipped over a sweeping lance, watched the arc. Air displaced scorching hair at her temple, landing astride the guard's back, daggers striking decisive through gorget and spine seals, the body slumping beneath her. Roan moved like vengeance given form. Cover me. Arrows loosed at point blank, one piercing a visor and a spray of shattered transparasteel, another overloading a shield generator that detonated in a blue-white flash and concussive boom, dropping the wearer motionless inside glowing armor. Tuck's massive frame absorbed a glancing blast that charred robes to ash and blistered skin. Lord, preserve us. He bellowed a battlefield prayer and brought his staff down in an overhand strike and deliver this one. That crushed helmet into the floor with a heavy crunch. The last elite lunged at Roan. Die, outlaw. Lance thrust in for his heart with a hiss of superheated plasma. Roan sidestepped inside the arc, not yet the beam scorching past close enough to singe hair and blister skin. Drew his long knife and drove it up under the breastplate in a decisive thrust. The body sagged, weight dragging the blade down with it. Silence fell, broken only by ragged breathing thick with ozone and scorched metal. The hiss of cooling armor, the drip of condensation on durosteel. They kicked the cell door. Mira rose slowly, bruised, blood-crusted at one temple, linen torn but eyes blazing emerald fire through exhaustion. Roan crossed the space in 2 strides, slicing restraints with a rasp of knife on cord. Catching hers, legs buckled. "I've got you." She clutched him like life itself, fingers digging into his back through leather and mail, face pressed to his neck, breathing him in forest resin, sweat, smoke him through tears. She finally allowed. "You came. Always," he whispered against her hair. Behind them, the team freed the other captives, gaunt figures blinking in sudden light, gasping fresh air untainted by despair. Vhal'tyr waited in the glass-walled observation chamber above, personal shield shimmering like heat haze. Harmonics already lashing out in waves of induced terror, ice behind eyes, phantom screams in ears, stair-stite formation unordered. The team stormed upward, boots pounding, breath heaving. Vhal'tyr's mind attack struck like frozen needles, visions of burning children. Mira dying in Roan's arms. The forest glassed from orbit, pushed through its illusion. Tuck bellowed. Humans pressed on sheer fury. Roan's disruptor arrow pierced the shield sparks, cascading in electric rain as modulation failed with a shrill whine. Now, Little John charged through the breach for the people, with staff shattering an elongated arm with a sound like breaking porcelain. Will's blades crossed in a scissoring arc. "Your reign ends here," severing the head cleanly, the body collapsing in a heap. Kane was found cowering beneath his desk in the adjoining office, whimpering promises of wealth, mercy, anything, breath sour with fear, sweat, and spirits. Mira stepped forward, voice quiet, but carrying like a blade through the reek of his terror. "You wanted gratitude." Sheriff Roan's arrow took him through the open mouth, fletching protruding from the back of his skull, pinning his head to the chair. No one spoke. They exfiltrated through smoke and chaos, diversion fires raging on horizons. Escape shafts clear the night air sweet with pine and freedom when they finally broke into the forest. Days later, in a fortified consortium outpost 3 sectors away, a sealed crate arrived for the regional overseer. He opened it. Kane's severed head stared up, mouth frozen in a rictus, eyes bulging in permanent horror alongside. Vhal'tyr's lifeless, elongated face, obsidian eyes, dull and accusing, both nestled in a bed of crumpled Syndicate charters. A note in Mira's unmistakable script. *, do not return. You do not want the build. * on Verdant Prime, beneath Twin Moon's brightest hope, the long work began. Collaborators and tyrants were hunted down not in mobs, but in quiet, inevitable justice. Trials by those they had wronged. Sentences carried out without ceremony. The great bonfire in Lockhaven Square consumed every copy of the Syndicate rulebook, pages curling orange and black with sharp acrid smoke, sparks rising like freed souls into the night while people cheered until voices cracked, the heat warm on faces once chilled by fear. Villages rose in Utambor fragrant with fresh sap, fields rich with turned earth and new seed. Children ran laughing through meadows where orbital scars were already greening over. Roan and Mira stood together on the ridge above the old Eldridge estate, now a communal hall open to all. Her hand rested warm in his. His arm circled her waist, thumb tracing idle circles at her hip, the scent of her hair wildflowers and wood smoke filling his lungs. No walls, no titles, no chains, only the wind through new leaves, the distant ring of hammers on anvils forging tools instead of weapons, and the long, free future stretching out beneath the stars. The legend of the cosmic outlaw and the Lady of the Greenwood no longer legend, but living truth was sung by Alan Adel around every hearth, carried on every breeze. And Verdant Prime, for the first time in generations, breathed free.